Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're looking at two games played between Envy and G2 Esports in the grand final of the last regional event of the split for the new RLCS season in North America. And G2 are currently winning 3-2 in games in the second set after already winning the first set. So they're just one game and indeed one goal away from winning this entire tournament because we're starting this one off in overtime. But the reason we're doing that is because the point of this video is to highlight some incredible play, in particular goal line defense by Atomic, who we are on board with for both of these games, and most of that happens in overtime. So let's get into it. But before we talk about Atomic and Envy more, let's talk about G2, because they've had an incredible season so far, and I'm really happy for them personally, because there was a lot of chat in the off-season about G2 looking at other options potentially to replace Drees, who joined the team late in the RLCS season. And I was surprised to hear so much speculation by fans and so much criticism being sent towards Drees by G2 fans and just Rocket League Esports fans. I've spoken about this on my channel before, but I think he did a great job. And you know, for a new player who's only just started playing at the highest level of Rocket League competition, I think very few would have been able to do it as well as he has. And not only that, but with a West Coast connection. He's currently playing in this lobby with 76 ping. 80 is very normal for West Coast players playing in RLCS, because all the matches are played on the East servers, because that's where most of the players are from. And yeah, Drees is one of those who's been able to succeed despite the West Coast connection. And you know, one day maybe he'll move to East Coast ping and just become a better player overnight. You've got to remember that. We often talk about how impressive it is for Middle East players, South American players to play with high ping, but rarely do US West players get the same praise, and I think they deserve it. So it's great to see G2 having success, and I think this team should absolutely just stick together. They've had great results at the end of RLCS Season X and at the start of this season. It's no surprise to me that they're able to keep producing these results, because I think their play style is phenomenal. They attack, they're aggressive, they're all very talented at making individual plays, and they're all very mechanical players. So really, if you've got all that, all you need is good motivation and good team atmosphere behind the scenes, and yeah, you've got yourself a great roster. So everything I know about G2 just makes me think that they're going to be successful, and it is great to see them having success and doing so with Drees still on the roster. Couldn't be happier for them. But as for Envy and Atomic, they've also kept the same roster coming into this new season. That's not surprising given how consistently they played throughout the end of RLCS Season X. But they've never been the absolute best team when it comes to crunch time. They lost out to Space Station Gaming in Championships. They lost out to NRG in one of the majors that Envy were expected to do really well in. Oh, nice save there by Mist after missing them on the first try. But yeah, Envy are, I think, just the team that everybody just expects to see at the top alongside NRG. They're the two most consistent teams for the past year in North America. Space Station have had their pop-off weeks, and then some weeks where they're nowhere to be seen. G2 have been historically inconsistent, although that's becoming less and less of a factor. Great save there by Atomic, guiding the ball into the corner defensively. But I think overall, when you look at North America and all of the top teams, it looks like these are the two teams who are trending upwards. Envy making it a deeper run in every single RLCS regional event this season for North America. Another great save there by Atomic. You'll notice he cuts off the infield pass after reading it, something Envy do brilliantly. And G2, likewise, you know, going better every single event. Oh, look at this. Now, this is what we're here to see. One save by Atomic. Probably good save of the season right there. Oh, my goodness. What an unbelievable play. And even now, he's staying goal side. That probably didn't register as a save, but he is just getting those last touches in the ball to help his team recover and help his team stay in the match. Yeah, that's just what Atomic and what Envy do best. They don't mind sitting back. They don't mind playing on the back foot and waiting for their counter-attacking opportunities. They are incredibly mechanical and very good at reading their opponents you really want to be careful about infield passing against Envy, because that's a strategy that many North American teams and many teams in the world are known for. Especially for North America, you have to think about NRG and G2, but Space Station as well with their team passing plays. That's not something you really want to focus too much on against Envy, though, because we've already seen several times in this game, and we saw it throughout the entire grand final between these two teams. Envy are just very good at not just reading those and stopping them from working for the attacking team, but turning it around into a counter-attack for themselves. So backboard tends to be a bit of a safer option against Envy, but their aerial prowess can easily get them out of sticky situations when the ball goes high over them anyway. So not an easy team to score goals against, and a very dangerous team when they do get forward. There's another infield pass intercepted by Atomic, and you'll notice that Envy, every time they're defending, they've got somebody covered in the net, they've got somebody covered in the passing option, and they've usually got somebody moving into a position to attack a high ball if it does pop over the top of them, if it does go off the backboard. That's the really just the perfect defensive spread. So you've got ball pressure, you've got the passing option covered, and you've got the net covered. It is just, I think, the best way to defend in 3v3. The only downside is that it does give your opponents lots of chances on net. G2 are getting a look at it from up close, but no goal yet. And remember, if they score, they win the tournament. They win the entire thing. They definitely have had the better looks at the goal. Envy are clinical, and now here's a great chance for Atomic. He had a pass option there as well. It's a missed. Decided to just go himself with the shot, see if he could force a bad save or a double, maybe even triple commit out of G2. Envy playing very tight-knit in offense. They want to play off each other as quickly as possible. Deep rotation from Atomic. He's not needed though. Misfits it in off his own center ball, and that is game. Envy able to get the win there. But I think, of course, the one thing we have to see once again before we finish with this game and before we go into the next one is that ridiculous double save. I believe it's around about now. Envy in defense here. JNAP's threatening a center ball, and I do want to criticize Atomic briefly here, because I think he's put himself in a bit of an awkward position by driving off the goal line like this. Doesn't really help him too much, because he's got Turbo in front of him to cover the back wall. As you can see, Turbo's turning towards there. You've got Mist to force JNAPs to do something, and that's why Atomic quickly reverses back into next. He realizes that's where he should probably be, but this is a great save. To manage to deny JNAPs there, who is coming in with a big block, is ridiculously impressive. And now look at this, 14 boost, waits until he lands to use it, and I think this is the key for me, because when you've got 14 boost, it's very tempting to just use it to recover more quickly, but Atomic knows if he presses that boost before his wheels are on the ground, it's not going to have that much of an effect. It's just going to disappear. He's still going to have very little momentum, and he won't be able to make this save. So he waits until he lands, then he starts boosting and propels himself towards the ball. So definitely very important thing to note there. Don't panic with your boost button when you're running out, especially if you've got, like this, momentum going backwards, because when you've got momentum in reverse, as Atomic does here, pressing boost doesn't really do much. It kind of just runs out, as we'll see if we slow down the speed here. Atomic there just pressed boost briefly, and it realized it wasn't really doing much. He's still got reverse momentum, so he just lets himself fall, and it's only once he gets down onto the ground that he propels himself forward, gets a quick burst of acceleration, and launches himself up into the air. And look how close this was to going in. Just an unbelievable save. He gets one touch to knock it up into the crossbar, then he gets another touch to pinch it off the crossbar, but even better, he manages to somehow steer it to his left, and that actually makes it very difficult for G2 to follow up, because JNAP's is side onto the ball, Turbo's first to it, and they're able to continue defending. Atomic even getting ready to block another shot there as JNAP's looked for another option. So all in all, great stuff there. Brilliant use of the little boost that he had to make that double save possible. But that's not all. We've got another game to show you guys. Let's head into game 7 of this set between G2 and Envy, again from Atomic's POV. Champions Field always a field associated with Turbo. Oh, we got a bit of a false start there. Looks like the admin might have beamed the start of the game. Probably just forgot to set the countdown and then quickly corrected the mistake. It always looks really weird when that happens in a replay though, because the replay only shows the actual gameplay. It doesn't show the big pause that probably happened there between those two kickoffs. But that's what happened, if you're wondering, most likely. Let's see now. Oh, what a bad respawn that is for Dries, nearly own goalie. I was going to see, let's see how game 7 I should say here, second for the video though. Kicks off and Dries nearly had the worst respawn of all time there. The only real true luck that you can't control in Rocket League is where you spawn after the kickoff and where you spawn after being demoed. The difference between them though is that when you're spawning after being demoed, you're just spawning straight into an ongoing play, so it's far more difficult to control. At least when you're spawning on a kickoff, you can see where you are, make a quick plan, and you can even practice for those scenarios with your team. Something at G2 actually we're doing very well in the run-up for this event, I can tell, because they had some very controlled kickoffs, close cheats going well, and also back corner possession control going well. Something I really hope to see more teams doing, because there's some teams at the high end of Rocket League who are very good at kickoffs, and others who are pretty careless and they just give away goals by not really playing anything with synergy. Oh, almost 1-1 there. Atomic getting a very good 50-50 to send the ball near the goal. That's something Atomic is very good at. It's the 50-50 game. He's actually got a bit of 1v1 history. I've not seen him play any big 1v1 tournaments outside of Fusion myself, but I've seen him play a couple of show matches, and he's definitely extremely solid in 1v1 positions. So expect to see good 50-50s out of this guy. And same thing could be said about Dries. That's one of the benefits of having that 1v1 background. It's something we see with Dignitas in Europe right now. Just such a good team at controlling and manipulating those 50-50s in their favor. It's not just about knowing how to air dribble bump these days. G2, always impeccable backboard clear when they're in defense. Usually the defensive weaknesses for G2 are the fact that they don't have any defense because their third man joins the attack in a risky position. But I've always liked that playstyle, and I've always thought that that's right now the best way to play 3v3 is just have 3 attackers and use your rotations, use your recoveries to have a defensive player when the ball does get sent forward with a counter-attack for the other team. And G2, I think, are definitely the best team in North America at doing that, the best team at playing that 3-man offense. But they're, up until recently, been pretty messy with it and definitely had a lot of overextensions. And when you start to do that, when you have a lot of positions and a lot of goals go against you because you just don't have a third man ready, the confidence does dip and you start to lose faith in your teammates. And it's definitely more scary to attack as a third man when you're not sure if a teammate's going to recover in time to have you covered. So that's something G2 have been doing a lot better recently. Oh, nice shot there. Turbo putting in the equalizer. With 1:30 to go, we still haven't seen all that much crazy defense, but don't worry, it's coming. It's definitely going to be a part of this video. Atomic getting some real highlight moments in this one. Oh my, off the ceiling is pretty extravagant there for Atomic. I would have loved to see that be pulled off, but it's very difficult to get a deft touch on the ball with that much force. It's also a talking point about these two teams that they've both already qualified for the RLCS LAN in Sweden, the first RLCS, or the first LAN for Rocket League in 2 years. And it's going to be super interesting to see whether or not G2 can make this playstyle work on LAN. Because if they can, they are going to be, I think, the scariest team in North America to go up against. But if they can't, it's very easy to see them just tilting and bombing out of the competition. Compare that to Envy, a lot more consistent, a lot more solid of a play style, but will they have that X factor? Everybody, I think, expects the answer to that question to be yes, of course. They've got Turbo. Not only is it the first LAN in 2 years, and a LAN coming back from a victorious Season 8 for him, but also it's in Sweden, it's in his home city of Stockholm. We're headed for another overtime here. Great infield pass, so Turbo was denied by G2. Now, I mentioned that G2 are more known for infield passing, but Envy also very good at those little passing plays in offense because they often attack so close together. But you'll notice that we haven't yet seen anything ridiculous in terms of saves out of Atomic. Nothing that would merit a video being made, at least, but he does still have 3 saves to his name. Turbo able to get the ball towards him here, but lack of boost enables, or lack of boost for Atomic, I should say, enables Dries to beat him to that one, get over the top of him. Atomic, 18 boost, pre-jump save, and into the bar, recovery, and then not just a read on the crossbar bounce, but also another recovery to make a 3rd save. So you probably can't call that second touch there a save, but it's still a great defensive play because the ball's hit his own crossbar, but he reads it and manages to land on it to deflect it to safety, all while recovering and diving in the way of another shot. So I'd say that's, technically it's only 2 saves, but you call it 3. And of course Turbo again with the winning goal. This one right up his street. This is straight from the Turbo wheelhouse of nonsensical goals, but definitely a tough position for JNaps. Gets bumped and he just doesn't get the save quite right. He's got 2 choices in this position, either 50-50 with Turbo to try and deflect the ball into the corner or outplay him, hit the ball past him and into the corner, but instead he accidentally hits the ball towards Turbo, so he's supposed to hit that just into the corner of the pitch, but he hits it into Turbo, gets dunked on, and he doesn't get a 50-50 as well. Bit of a nightmare scenario for him, and that did reset the entire series into just one more set. But hold on, I've got to find, where was this? Here it is. So this is the Atomic triple save. We had a look at the flurry that he had in the last game. Let's look at this one as well. So he's got 18 boosts after being bumped out of position, gets a ridiculous pre-jump save on Dries, and not just ridiculous because he's made it, but because he didn't even use any boosts. Look, he still has 18 boosts. That's just unbelievable. This guy has got such a great, he's got great resistance to that boost trigger finger, because we saw him saving the 14 boost in the last game so that he could propel himself into the second save. Now look at this. He just trusts himself to get this save with absolutely no boost used, because he knows it's probably not the only save he's going to have to make. He's going to need to recover after landing inside the net and make another save, and that's what he does here. But after jumping, he realizes, wait a minute, this one's also going to hit the bar, so let's recover and knock it to the side. Otherwise, Chicago would have had an easy goal here. So look at this. Chicago's coming in for the easy goal, and just then, Atomic hits it to the side of him, recovers again, and is able to block the near post shot from JNaps. Now, I think Chicago might have actually messed this one up for JNaps. Actually, no, I'm not sure. It's hard to say if JNaps would have reached this in time, because Atomic does not have any boost at the moment, but Chicago doesn't actually know that. He can't know for sure that Atomic has no boost here, and he also probably thought that he could get an inside of the post shot in this position, because if this bounces off the inside of the post, probably a goal. So Chicago's just trying to knock that off the inside of the post, hits the near post instead, and whether or not JNaps could have reached this himself, you can't really gamble on that in these kind of positions. So it's not really, I wouldn't call that a misplay by Chicago, just a slight overestimation of what he was going to get out of that shot. And he knows JNaps there, so that is a pass, and did give JNaps half a chance. But man, what a play, what a series of plays there by Atomic. Just unbelievable preservation of small amounts of boost. 14 boost in the first game, 18 boost in this game. Didn't just use it in a hurry, didn't panic and just end up on 0 in net. And you saw that he needed to have 14 boosts in the last game and 18 in this game in order to make these plays. Now, you could argue that this play here, maybe he can read that is over the bar, but it's actually pretty hard to tell in the moment if that's going over the bar, if it's if it's gonna hit the bar and come down, if it's gonna just go in. I think Atomic knew when this shot came in that it was hitting the bar. If I was to guess, I think he knew it was hitting the bar, and the only reason that he didn't actually continue flying for this is because Dries is right in front of him trying to bump him. Just another thing to make this even harder. So take a look at what Atomic sees here. Dries is actually shielding his path to the ball. So if Atomic jumped up and tried to read the bounce off his own crossbars, I'm sure he would, because this ball is going to bounce off the crossbar somewhere into this area. Atomic knows that, and he's probably got a very precise read on this bounce already, but he also knows that if he throws himself forward at that right now, that he's just going to bounce off Dries and miss the ball. So he holds on to his boost and then uses it to recover. See right here, he's using this to fly back down into position and get that clear ball as the ball hits the ground. So here we go, jumps with no boost. Now he's boosting into position to recover and get the clear. Unbelievable stuff. Two of the best sequences that I've seen in terms of goal line defense in 3v3. And I think this series, like I said earlier, I think I said this earlier, one of the best grand finals we've seen since the open circuit era of RLCS, and I think the best grand final this season, not just for North America but for all the regions. Must watch if you haven't seen it from start to finish. I've shown you here and I've said to you that there's another whole set coming up, and that one is just as exciting as the first two, so definitely check it out if you haven't already. But yeah, that's all I wanted to show you from it. That was the only highlights that I had to bring to you guys. There's plenty more to go and see in your own time if you've got the time to watch the entire series, all 3 best of 7 sets. But congratulations to the eventual winner. I'm not going to say who it is in case some of you guys haven't yet seen it. And congratulations to both teams on making it to Sweden. Really excited to see them play. Turbo going to his home LAN, and G2 finally getting the success that I think was so deserved with this playstyle and this team having such a history to them, but also with their new star in Dries, who I'm a massive fan of, not just because he's got a ones background. But thanks to you guys for watching today. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next weekend on the RLCS broadcast. I was on a weekend off this last one, so you wouldn't have seen me there, and I'll see you midweek and on the Friday on my live stream on Twitch if you want to swing by. I tweet before I go live every single time, so follow me on Twitter if you want to catch all my live streams. But that's all for now. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.